Explain to me how you think India is going to become a world economic power. Negatives of India's national debt. Higher interest payments. A higher national debt means that the Indian government has to pay more in interest payments. This diverts resources away from other important areas, such as education, healthcare, and infrastructure. Reduced flexibility in economic policy. A high national debt can limit the Indian government's ability to respond to economic shocks, such as a recession or a natural disaster. The government may be reluctant to spend more money on stimulus measures or tax cuts, as this would increase the debt burden. Increased risk of default. If India's national debt continues to grow, there is a risk that the government may default on its debt obligations. This would have a devastating impact on the Indian economy and could lead to a financial crisis. Dollars per capita and dollars per capita versus the average annual income per Indian. Dollars per capita. India's national debt per capita is $1,643. This is relatively low compared to the national debt per capita of other developed countries, such as the United States and Japan. However, it is important to note that India's average annual income per capita is much lower than the average annual income per capita of developed countries. This means that the average Indian has to carry a heavier debt burden than the average American or Japanese. Percentage of India's national debt carried per person on a per capita basis. The average Indian carries 1.6% of India's national debt on a per capita basis. This means that if India's national debt were to be divided up equally among all Indians, each Indian would have to pay $1,643. How the Indian government is not investing in India or Indian banks are not investing in India. Government investment. The Indian government's investment in infrastructure and other important areas has been declining in recent years. This is partly due to the government's high debt burden. Bank investment. Indian banks have also been reluctant to lend money to businesses, as they are concerned about the risks of default. This has made it difficult for businesses to expand and create jobs. The lack of investment in India is a major concern, as it is hampering the country's economic growth. The Indian government needs to take steps to reduce its debt burden and to encourage investment, both public and private. Examples of how the lack of investment is impacting India. Infrastructure. India's infrastructure is inadequate to meet the needs of its growing population and economy. This is hampering the movement of goods and people, and is making it difficult for businesses to operate efficiently. Education. India's education system is underfunded and overcrowded. This is limiting the skills of the workforce and is making it difficult for India to compete in the global economy. Healthcare. India's healthcare system is also underfunded. This is making it difficult for Indians to access affordable and quality healthcare. The lack of investment in India is a serious problem that needs to be addressed. The Indian government and the private sector need to work together to increase investment in infrastructure, education, healthcare, and other important areas. Private investment in India is lower than private investment in America and Japan. In 2022, private investment in India was $43 billion, while private investment in America was $1.9 trillion and private investment in Japan was $650 billion. There are a number of reasons for the low level of private investment in India. These include high level of government regulation. India has a complex regulatory environment that can be difficult and time-consuming for businesses to navigate. This can discourage businesses from investing in India. Infrastructure deficit. India's infrastructure is inadequate to meet the needs of its growing population and economy. This can make it difficult for businesses to operate efficiently and can increase their costs. Lack of skilled labor. India has a shortage of skilled workers, which can make it difficult for businesses to find the workers they need. Corruption. Corruption is a major problem in India, which can discourage businesses from investing in the country. The low level of private investment in India is a major concern, as it is hampering the country's economic growth. The Indian government needs to take steps to address the factors that are discouraging private investment, such as the high level of government regulation, the infrastructure deficit, the lack of skilled labor, and corruption. Impact of low private investment in India. Slow economic growth. Low private investment can lead to slow economic growth, as businesses are not investing in new projects and creating new jobs. High unemployment. Low private investment can lead to high unemployment, as businesses are not hiring new workers. Low living standards. Low private investment can lead to low living standards, as people do not have access to the goods and services that they need. The Indian government needs to take steps to increase private investment in order to boost economic growth and improve the lives of its citizens. Foreign investment in India is lower than foreign investment in America and Japan. In 2022, foreign direct investment (FDI) in India was $44 billion, while FDI in America was $323 billion and FDI in Japan was $26 billion. There are a number of reasons for the low level of foreign investment in India. These include high level of government regulation. India has a complex regulatory environment that can be difficult and time-consuming for foreign investors to navigate. This can discourage foreign investors from investing in India. Infrastructure deficit. India's infrastructure is inadequate to meet the needs of its growing population and economy. This can make it difficult for foreign investors to operate efficiently and can increase their costs. Lack of skilled labor. India has a shortage of skilled workers, which can make it difficult for foreign investors to find the workers they need. Corruption. Corruption is a major problem in India, which can discourage foreign investors from investing in the country. In addition to these factors, the COVID-19 pandemic has also had a negative impact on foreign investment in India. The low level of foreign investment in India is a major concern, as it is hampering the country's economic growth. The Indian government needs to take steps to address the factors that are discouraging foreign investment, such as the high level of government regulation, the infrastructure deficit, the lack of skilled labor, and corruption. The Indian government has taken a number of steps to attract foreign investment in recent years, including simplifying the regulatory environment and providing tax breaks to foreign investors. However, more needs to be done to make India a more attractive destination for foreign investment. Despite the challenges, there are a number of opportunities for foreign investors in India. The country has a large and growing domestic market, a young and educated workforce, and a government that is committed to economic reforms.